Elena, I'm in the doghouse again. My wife left me this long list of things to fix around the house while she was at work, and when she got back, I had to tell her I didn't finish it. Honestly, I felt so bad saying it. It sounded so final, like I just gave up on the sink and the leaky faucet.
Oh, James, I feel you. Those lists can be overwhelming. But, you might feel less guilty if you changed just one tiny word. Instead of saying, I didn't finish it, try saying, I haven't finished it yet. Can you hear the difference?
I haven't finished it yet. Yeah, it sounds a lot more hopeful, like I'm actually going to get around to it eventually, rather than just admitting defeat.
Exactly. That's why I call yet a powerhouse word. It's like a linguistic chameleon. It's a tiny word, but it signals a powerhouse of expectation. It tells the listener that the action is likely to happen soon. It takes a negative sentence and turns it into a work in progress.
I love that, a work in progress. That describes my whole life, actually. Even my dog looks at me like he's waiting for his walk, and I have to tell him, I haven't found your leash yet. It sounds much better than just, I didn't find it.
It really does. It's more natural and much more optimistic. How about you listening at home? Is there something in your life, maybe a project at work or a book you're reading, that you haven't finished yet? It's a great way to stay positive, right?
Definitely. I'm already excited to dive deep into this. It's such a simple change, but I can see how it makes a huge impact on how people see you.
It really does. And that's the plan for today's chat. First, we're going to look at the basics of how to use yet in everyday sentences. Then we'll talk about the subtle nuance that helps you sound like a pro. And finally, we'll bring up some common idioms that use yet in ways you might not expect.
I'm ready. It can be hard to keep up with all the little rules in English, but this one feels like a secret weapon. If you want to keep up with us and start speaking more naturally, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our tips.
Well said, James. Let's get into it. So, James, to start things off, when you think of the word yet, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For me, it's always about waiting for something to change.
Oh, that's easy. Road trips. Every time I take my dog in the car, I swear if he could talk, he'd be asking, "Are we there yet?" every 5 minutes. He gets so impatient in the back seat, especially when he sees his leash. It honestly drives me up the wall sometimes.
Haha, I can imagine. That's actually the perfect example. Are we there yet is probably the most famous use of the word. We use it in questions because we are expecting a change. We aren't at the destination now, but we expect to be there soon. It's all about anticipation.
Exactly. I use it with my wife too. She works as a nurse and her shifts are incredibly long. I'm usually at home, starving, texting her, "Is your shift over yet?" because I really look forward to us having dinner together. Well, that, and I'm a terrible cook and I haven't even started the stove yet.
See? You just used it in a negative sentence too. I haven't started the stove yet. That means it hasn't happened up to this point, but it's probably going to happen soon, hopefully before you starve. How about you listening at home? Do you have a habit of putting things off? Are there chores you haven't finished yet today?
I bet they do. I have a whole doom drawer in the kitchen full of stuff I need to fix. My wife gave me a list of repairs a month ago, and let's just say I haven't exactly gotten around to it yet. I really need to get my act together, don't I?
Maybe just a little bit, James. But don't worry, you aren't a lost cause. My husband is the same way with his birdwatching gear. He's been looking for this specific woodpecker for months. Every time he comes home, I ask, "Did you see it yet?" And he just sighs and says, "Not yet."
So yet is like a bridge, right? It connects what's happening now to what we want to happen. If I say I haven't eaten, it's just a fact. But if I say I haven't eaten yet, it sounds like I'm definitely planning on grabbing a burger soon.
Spot on. It adds that feeling of expectation. It's very functional for everyday life because we're always waiting for something or planning the next step. Speaking of which, have you finished that book I let you yet? The one about coffee beans?
Well, I haven't actually opened the cover yet. I've been a bit busy keeping an eye on my dog. He started a new hobby of hiding my socks under the sofa. It's a full-time job keeping track of him.
Sounds like a very convenient excuse. But that's a great transition to how we use yet to talk about our progress, or lack of it, about contrast. You see, when we use yet as a conjunction, it's like a more sophisticated version of but. It links two ideas that seem to contradict each other. For example, my cat is extremely lazy, yet he somehow manages to be in the kitchen the very second I open a can of food.
I know that feeling. My dog is terrified of the vacuum cleaner, yet he insists on sitting right next to me while I use it. It makes no sense. Wait, did I use that correctly?
Perfectly. It shows that surprise. You'd expect him to run away, but he stays. It adds a little bit of drama to the sentence. How about you listening at home? Do you have a habit that seems logical, yet is actually a bit strange? We all have those.
Oh, definitely. Like me trying to assemble that new bookshelf last night, I read the instructions 5 times, yet I still ended up with 3 extra screws and a wobbly shelf. I think I bit off more than I can chew with that one. Now I have to go back to the drawing board.
We've all been there. But let's cut to the chase and look at a slightly more boss-level way to use yet. Have you ever heard someone say, the company has yet to make a decision?
Yeah, I've seen that in emails from my boss. It always sounds so professional, a bit cold maybe. If I told my wife I have yet to wash the dishes, I think she'd give me a very strange look.
She probably would. It's definitely formal. When we use have yet to, followed by a verb, it means something hasn't happened, but we expect it to. My husband often says things like, the contractor has yet to provide the final estimate when he's talking about his work projects. It sounds much more authoritative than just saying he hasn't sent it yet.
So it's like saying the status is still pending. Like the travel plans for our holiday are still up in the air because the hotel has yet to confirm our reservation?
Exactly. You're on fire today, James. It shifts the focus from a simple no to a professional not yet. It's a great structure for when the ball is in someone else's court and you're waiting on them.
I like that. It makes me sound like I've got my life together, even if my bookshelf is currently leaning at a 45-degree angle. So yet can be a simple but with a twist, or it can make me sound like a CEO. Precisely. It's all about the context. Using have yet to in a business meeting will definitely make people sit up and take notice. It's subtle, but it carries a lot of weight. Make you sound like you really know your stuff. It's very professional, James. Using have yet to or as yet gives your speech a certain polish. I definitely need more of that polish. Usually, when my wife leaves me a list of chores and asks if I finished, I just mumble, I'm working on it. Maybe I should say, as yet, the vacuuming is incomplete.
Well, it might sound a bit funny if you're just talking about the living room, but you've got the grammar right. As yet is a great way to describe a current status, especially when people are waiting for news. It basically means up until this moment.
I see. So if I'm at the office and a client asks for a report that isn't finished, I could say, as yet, we have no further updates, instead of just saying, I don't know.
Exactly. It sounds much more composed. It's like saying, I'm still working on it and I'll tell you when something changes. My husband uses this phrase a lot when he's tracking those train schedules he loves. He'll say, as yet, the 10:15 is on time, which usually means he's expecting a delay eventually.
That makes sense. It feels very official. I tried using it with my neighbor this morning when he asked if I'd seen his cat. I said, as yet, no sightings. He looked at me like I'd joined the Secret Service or something.
Maybe save the formal stuff for the office. But then we have the flip side, which is best yet. This one is much more casual and enthusiastic. We use it to celebrate a new record or a peak performance.
Oh, I know this one. Like when my dog, Barnaby, actually stayed in his bed while I ate dinner. That was his best behavior yet. Usually, he's trying to steal my toast before I even sit down.
Precisely. Best yet implies that while things were good before, this specific time is the absolute top. I used it just yesterday in my garden. After months of fighting off slugs, I finally grew a zucchini that wasn't full of holes. It was my best crop yet.
I feel you on that. It's such a satisfying phrase to use. It's like you're leveling up. I think I used it at the coffee shop today too. I told the barista Mike that my latte was his best yet. He didn't smile, but I think he appreciated it.
I'm sure he did deep down. Think about it. Have you guys listening had a best yet moment recently? Maybe you finished a difficult book, or you finally understood a tricky English grammar point. That would be your best progress yet, right?
I hope so. It feels good to recognize those little wins. But wait, Elena, I'm getting confused again. Can I say as yet and best yet in the same sentence? Or is that overkill?
You could, but it might be a bit of a mouthful. You could say, as yet, this is our best project yet, but it's a bit repetitive. It's better to pick the one that fits the mood. As yet for the facts, and best yet for the feelings.
Got it. Facts versus feelings. I'll try to keep that in mind. Honestly, this has been our best explanation yet. See what I did there?
Nice one, James. You're catching on fast.
Thanks, Elena. I feel like a yet expert now. But you know me, I like to shake things up. I think it's time to turn the tables and see if you and our listeners can handle a little challenge.
Oh, a challenge. I love it. My husband always says I'm too competitive for my own good, so I'm ready. What have you got for us?
All right, let's call this the transformation station. I'm going to give you a normal, everyday sentence, and you have to transform it using yet. And for everyone listening, try to beat Elena to the answer. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, number 1. This morning, my wife asked me about the grocery shopping, and I told her I still need to call the shop to see if they have those specific dog treats. How would you say that using yet?
Okay, let me think. Since it's something you haven't finished, we need the negative form, so it would be, I haven't called the shop yet, right?
Perfect. Exactly. I haven't called the shop yet. It's simple, but it sounds so much more natural in a conversation. How about you guys? Did you get that one before Elena?
I bet they did. What's the next one, James? Don't make it too easy.
Don't worry, I'm turning up the heat. Number 2. This happened yesterday. My dog is terrified of the rain, but he really wanted to chase a squirrel. So it was raining, we went out anyway. How do we combine those using yet as a conjunction?
Oh, the dramatic yet. I like this one. It would be, it was raining, yet we went out. It sounds a bit more, I don't know, poetic, like a scene from a movie where the hero walks into a storm.
Exactly. Though in my case, the hero was just a wet dog pulling me toward a tree. It really shows that contrast, doesn't it? It was raining, yet we went out. Nice work.
It really does. It's like saying but with a bit more punch. What's the final one? Is it the final boss level?
It is. This one is the formal version. At work, my boss is always checking on our progress. If I wanted to sound very professional and tell him we haven't signed the contract using that fancy have yet to structure, how would I say it?
Ooh, putting on my professional hat for this one. I would say, we have yet to sign the contract. It sounds very official, doesn't it? Like something my husband would write in one of his civil engineering reports.
Spot on. We have yet to sign the contract. It's a great way to sound polished. I think I might start using that at the Rusty Spoon when Mike asks if I've paid for my coffee. I have yet to find my wallet, Mike.
I don't think Mike will be very impressed by your grammar if you're not paying James. But you're right, it's a useful structure to have in your back pocket. How did you do at home? Did you manage to transform all 3?
I hope so. It's all about practice. You can't just learn the rule. You have to play with the words until they feel comfortable, like a favorite pair of shoes. Until they feel natural. Exactly. It's one thing to see a grammar rule in a book, but it's another thing to actually use it when you're talking to a friend or a colleague.
I couldn't agree more. So before my cat starts judging me for not feeding her on time, let's wrap this up with a little takeaway.
Good idea. My wife is probably wondering where I am too. I told her I'd be home for dinner, but I'm not there yet.
Perfect use of the word. Today we really looked at how yet can bridge the gap between what is happening now and what we expect to happen soon. It adds a bit of hope or expectation to a sentence.
It really does. It's like saying, hey, I'm getting there, instead of just saying no.
So here is your challenge of the day. I want you to use the word yet in a professional email today. If someone asks you for a document or an update, instead of saying, I didn't do it, try saying, I haven't finished it yet.
That's a great tip. It makes you sound so much more proactive. It's like a breath of fresh air for your boss because they know the work is coming. You haven't thrown in the towel, you're just still in the process.
Exactly. It changes the whole tone. How about you listeners? Do you think you can slip yet into a conversation or an email today? Give it a try and see if it makes a difference.
And while you're at it, if you enjoyed our chat, please subscribe and like this episode. It really helps us keep the lights on and keep these lessons coming. We love having you here with us.
We really do. Your support keeps us on our toes and motivates us to find new stories to share.
All right, I better head out. I still haven't found my car keys, but I'm sure they're in the house somewhere. I just haven't looked in the refrigerator yet.
The refrigerator? Again, James? I think those keys might be gone for good if you keep putting them in there. Goodbye, everyone. See you next time.
They stay cool in there. Bye, everyone.